Hey everyone, I'm Alex, and today I'm going to show you how to create blur effects like this one in PowerPoint.
It's super simple, it's super easy. At the end, you'll be able to create something like this, or even something like this, right? This really cool glassmorphic effect. So let's jump in. Okay, so step one, all we need to do is create a blank presentation, which we've done, and let's go ahead and grab a photo, right? We had the photo of the rocks before, so if I go to Insert, Pictures, Stock Images. And we're gonna search for something like that stacked rock picture. I'll go and insert that. And let's grab one more of a person at the beach. So we'll just type in person sitting beach. Great, this one looks awesome. So now we have two pictures of people at the beach. And I'm gonna go ahead and insert one more text box as well. And we'll just say escape, go to home, and then I like Aroni. You can use obviously whatever you want. And we're gonna make that 60. Okay, so we have our starting slide. I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate that. You can right click and duplicate slide, or just Command-Shift-D, Command-Shift-D.
By the way, I'm on a Mac, and so if I say Command, if you're on a Windows machine, just swap it for Control. Anytime you see Command, it means Control on Windows. Let's jump back in.
We're gonna take this first picture, this person sitting, and we're gonna make this the full background. And I'm gonna crop this a little bit. So in order to crop, you can go to Picture Format and click Crop, or you can do Shift-C. And if you click Shift-C, it crops it as well. And I want to get this settled right on the slide like that. So it fits perfectly. So now we have our base picture, but how do we blur it? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this slide again. And then we go over to Picture Format, and then the Format pane. So we're formatting our picture. So it starts with fill. We click this little shape icon, and then we click Artistic Effects. The one we're looking for is this blur effect, and it has this radius setting. So 0 makes it super clear, all the way up to 100 makes it super blurry. There's another way you can do blur as well. You can go to Picture Corrections and then do Sharpness, kind of change the sharpness this way. I feel like you get a little bit more control with the blur effect, but this is another option that you could use if you wanted to. So we're gonna go to Artistic Effects. We have our blur selected, and we're gonna bump this radius up to, let's call it 60. Okay, so now we have the blur. And that already is looking pretty good, but we want something to pop out of this. So we're gonna grab a shape. We grab a square, and we're just gonna put that over the whole thing and change the fill to black. And we're gonna bump that transparency to about 65 and make sure there's no outline. So now it should really pop. And we're gonna grab our text right here and just drop that into the middle. Let's make that a little bit bigger. We're gonna go to 120. And it's not quite popping like I want to, so I'm gonna make it white, and then go over to text options. And we're just gonna add a little bit of shadow. And this will really make it pop out of this. So we're gonna make it so it really just kind of stands out. I'm gonna change the angle just a hair and increase that blur. Okay, and just like that, we have our first blur effect. The last thing to do is just go to transitions, and we want to morph that. And so now if I play it and click over, super simple pop out blur effect. Now what about the other one? There was this kind of this glassmorphic effect going on. Well, we'll do something very similar. So we're gonna duplicate this slide, and I'm gonna use this rock picture again, so I'll copy that. And we'll make it fill this whole slide like this. And again, I'm gonna crop it. Shift-C is what I pressed there. But again, you could also just go to picture format and select crop here if you wanted to. And now I'm going to apply that same effect, that artistic effect here. So we'll go to blur, and I like kind of about that much. So 40, let's do 45. And now what I want to do, I'm going to copy this. So I can Command C, or I can select copy. And then I go to format and go to slide background. And now I'm formatting this background of the slide over here. We go to picture or texture fill, and now we can use what we copied from our clipboard. So just click that. And now this slide background is our blurry picture. So we're going to take this picture, and now we're going to unblur it, right? So we have artistic effect that, we're gonna take it all the way to 0. But notice our slide background is still blurry. So same thing, we wanna add this kind of dark overlay on top of that. And I'm gonna grab another box. This is a really cool thing that PowerPoint lets you do. So we'll just grab that and the shape fill. So right here we can do picture or texture fill, or we can go over here to this format and this option of slide background fill. So now this shape is being filled with that slide background, which is that blur effect on top of this other one. So now no matter where I put this, because these two images are directly on top of one another, it will mimic that blur magnifying glass effect. So the last we want to do is make this look a little bit more glassy, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to add a line to it. We'll make that just a white line, and we'll increase that transparency a little bit, bump that up to 2, and then add a little bit of shadow as well. So we're going to change that and change the blur on that so it's a little bit more subtle. And for a good effect, why don't we add this 3D format, add a little bit of this bevel as well. We'll do, this one looks good. So make it look a little bit more like a glass strip. And then the last thing we want to do is just grab our text again and put it over the top. And we'll change that text down to, let's do something like 80. Okay, we'll duplicate this slide, and I'll get rid of this other stuff. So now we have this going to morph into this. So we have this really clear picture, and then it should morph into that. We'll just do transitions and morph, and then play this slideshow. And it creates this really cool kind of glass morphic effect as well.
If this was helpful or you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, drop a comment, let me know what other things you'd like to see in PowerPoint.